the reason we wanted to make the business tax cuts permanent, because we thought it would lead to more long-term investment by businesses. The reason that the individual tax cuts are temporary is, frankly, because of the $1.5 trillion box, that there was a limit on eventually be made permanent.
We've heard that before. And we actually heard Ronald Reagan say you don't balance the budget on the backs of the poor. It sounds like a preference.
Frankly,
I get that the businesses want to do their planning, but business is all about change. Why do they need so much advance notice? Do you like this preference? We've heard that before.
I don't like the preference, and I don't like it for logical reasons. I mean, Steve and I disagree on what businesses are actually going to do with the money that they're going to get in tax breaks.
It sounds like a preference.
I think if you look back at history over the last 20 years, you have not seen tax breaks causing that kind of sustained investment.
We've heard that before.
And I don't like the logical growth. Steve and I disagree on what businesses are actually going to do with the money that they're going to get in tax breaks. It sounds like really look at tax breaks for over the last 2 years, and I believe tax breaks causing that kind of shrinkage investment.
We've heard that
And I don't create economic growth. Steve and I disagree on what businesses are actually going to do with the money that they're going to get in tax breaks. It sounds like really look at tax breaks for over the last 2 years, and I believe tax breaks causing that kind of shrinkage investment. I don't create that gap. I don't create economic growth. Steve and I disagree on what businesses are actually going to do with the money that they're going to get in tax breaks. It sounds like really look at tax breaks for over the last 2 years, and I believe tax breaks causing that shrinkage investment. I don't create that gap. I don't create economic growth. Steve and I disagree on what businesses are actually going to do with the money that they're going to get in tax breaks. It sounds like really look at tax breaks for over the last 2 years, and I believe tax breaks causing that shrinkage investment. I don't create that gap. I don't create economic growth. Steve and I disagree on what businesses are actually going to do with the money that they're going to get in tax breaks. It sounds like really look at tax breaks for over the last 2 years, and
I believe this is a pro-business president who wants businesses to succeed. Part of that is the tax cut. Now, you know, I've talked to a lot of major CEOs of companies and even small businesses. You know, if you get this tax cut, what will you do? And a lot of them say, not all of them, but a lot of them say, look, we're going to reinvest in the business. We're going to expand. And, you know, you look at the GDP numbers now, we're up to almost 3.5% growth. I think we could get 4% growth next year. Remember, one of the big elements of this bill is what we call immediate expensing, which allows businesses next year to write off their equipment purchases. If they want to purchase a truck or expand their factory, they can write it off immediately. And a lot of businessmen and women told me, look, you do that, it's like a performance-enhancing drug. We're going to go out there and invest right away.
You know, I can believe that small businesses might invest, but small businesses are not going to be the major beneficiary. The major beneficiary are going to be the largest, richest corporations in the world. You know, Apple stands to gain about $47 billion from this tax cut. Apple is holding 10% of America's corporate wealth in offshore tax locations.
We want that to come back here, though.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to go right back into the stock market, which is exactly what's been happening over the last few years. That dynamic hasn't changed. What we need to be doing, particularly at the end of a recovery cycle, let's step back and remember it doesn't feel like it, but we've been in recovery for almost 10 years. That's typically how long those cycles last. So we're really actually due for a recession. If you look at it kind of historically, that's the time to be putting safety nets under people, to be making sure that you're doing something for Main Street, not Wall Street.
Now, look, I'm slow on the polls because people don't know what's in the bill. Right. And the more homework you do on this bill, the more concerns you're going to have, depending on your particular slice of life. But I think the reason for the lack of popularity, other than the political spin and the left coming after it so hard and the interest groups, is it's a maybe for the middle class. It's a certainty for the rich. And that's not washing with people, Steve.
Well, I wanted to address this issue about the stock market. There's no question. I mean, we've gained $5 to $6 trillion in wealth just in the last year. And you asked about, well, how's that happen? How is that? Look, I mean,
Trump used to say, don't look at Wall Street as an indication of Main Street. He used to bash it all the time.
But it is also true that, you know, most of Americans' savings in their pension plans, their 401ks, that's all in the stock market. And my only point is, look, when American businesses are more financially healthy, that's when they're going to invest more. Actually, they don't invest more. I mean, we learned what happened in the 2008 and 9 recession, right? The stock market crashed, and then what did companies do? They started laying off millions of people.
Couple points. Most Americans keep most of their wealth still in housing. Right. Housing hasn't gone up. In fact, housing's quite bifurcated. Rich people in rich locations have seen housing increases. Most of the rest of the country hasn't. So the stock market really isn't all that connected to Main Street. I wrote a whole book about this.
I think that's a problem with the American economy. I think every American should be more invested in the stock market.
They got to have the money.
I think there's a correction coming. So
I think we're too much of a consumer. I mean, if people start saving, my one advice to young people watching the show. You want to get rich, start investing even a little bit at a young age. The most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. Get that money.
You gotta have money.
So that
First of all, they've got $30,000 in debt, student debt coming out.
You guys almost took
Let's
it from
deal
me.
with that.
You know what I mean? So those are the choices that have been made. Let me get something really quick from you guys. Net neutrality. Do you like the move by the FCC and why, quickly?
I think that we ought to keep the internet regulation and tax-free. Let people expand. We don't need government regulation to expand internet access and access to broadband, in my opinion.
I think we need a new definition of net neutrality. I want to see an open, equal access internet for rich and poor. But I do have sympathy with the broadband providers when they say, look, we're building out the pipes of the 21st century digital railroad. I know, we actually agree on something, and we can't monetize it as well as Google, Facebook. My worry is that by repealing net neutrality, you might then create an uneven playing field for average people.
And you might have less infrastructure spending by these companies if you tell people you have to give it away for free.
Well, you know what's nice, and you know why I asked you about both? It's the same choice proposition. Who are you going to take care of?
Yeah,
are you going to take care of what they want, or are you going to take care of what I want?
Yeah.
That's what you did with the tax bill. We'll see how it turns out. That's what they're doing with net neutrality. You two, always value added. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right, Allison.
All right, Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissing claims of election meddling as spy hysteria. So why did President Trump thank him in a phone call? Senator Richard Blumenthal here on that next.
This is electricity. This is a power plant. This is Tim Barkholtz.
That's me.
This is something he's researching at ExxonMobil, using fuel cells to capture carbon emissions at power plants.
This is the potential.
Reducing CO2 emissions by up to 90%, while also producing more power.
This could be big.
Energy lives here.
They served with honor, survived the battlefield, and now they've come home. You can honor and empower those who have sacrificed so much.
I gave my leg for freedom.
I gave my family,
My marriage.
I missed a lot of Christmases and birthdays.
Even though it cost me my leg, I'd do it all over again.
It was worth it.
I'd do it all over again.
I do it again.
And again.
And again.
For many of our wounded service members, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. You can show you care.
Will you join with other patriotic Americans and support Wounded Warrior Project?
To join the Advanced Guard monthly giving program, call or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket as a reminder of your commitment and the difference you will make in lives of so many people.
I saw the logo and I thought immediately, this is the organization for me.
The Wounded Warrior Project is giving you the tools and empowering you, going from the soldier that's being carried to the soldier that's doing the carrying.
I'm a mentor, I'm a facilitator, because I've been helped, so now it's time to give back.
It's a chain reaction, and it's all about helping each other.
We owe them so much, and I'm just thankful that Wounded Warrior Project is stepping up. And if you haven't found it in your heart yet to give to Wounded Warrior Project, I urge you to do so because it's a very noble cause.
Your support makes a difference.
Your support gives life.
Hope.
When people send money to Wounded Warrior Project, it lets you know what the heart of America is.
Thank you for help making a difference in my life.
I'm eternally grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting our nation's greatest heroes.
Now is the time to show your support. Please call Wounded Warrior Project or go online with your gift right now.
Good evening, I'm Andy Cohen. How are you
doing?
Co-anchoring the news.
You're actually my co-host, but just on New Year's Eve. Get out of my chair.
New Year's Eve Live with Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen, only on CNN.
Are you not wearing pants?
Hi, I'm Bo Jackson. For years, I was a king of both football and baseball. But now that I'm getting older, my body is starting to slow down. That's because after the age of 40, your body produces less free testosterone, making it harder to get in shape. Thankfully, I found Alpha King from Force Factor.
And now, every man in America can claim a complimentary bottle of Alpha King by texting PRIDE to 809-809. Force Factor was recently named GNC's Breakout Brand of the Year, and Alpha King is their latest scientific innovation. It contains an exclusive new male vitality ingredient to help boost free testosterone, delivering more energy and more lean muscle during workouts. Soon, everyone will notice the new you.
I couldn't believe the results I achieved with Alpha King. I feel like a new man, and you can too.
If you're ready to up your game, claim a complimentary bottle by texting PRIDE to 809-809. That's PRIDE to 809-809.
The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, today at 5 Eastern on CNN.
President Trump thanking Russian President Vladimir Putin during a phone call yesterday for praising America's strong economic performance on Mr. Trump's watch. The call happened after Putin held a marathon news conference calling claims of Russian interference in the U.S. election nothing but, quote, spy hysteria. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
So I want to ask you about this phone call. We know what was discussed on it because the White House put out a statement. I'll read it to you. President Donald J. Trump spoke with President Vladimir Putin of Russia today. President Trump thanked President Putin for acknowledging America's strong economic performance in his annual press conference. The two presidents also discussed working together to resolve the very dangerous situation in North Korea. End of statement. What are your thoughts about what President Trump chose to talk to Putin about?
I welcome the President of the United States having amicable relations with Russia and cooperation with Russia when it comes to North Korea or Syria. We hope that we can cooperate on the international front in stopping North Korea from acquiring nuclear weapons and also in the Middle East seeking peace there. But the president has resisted the objective reality that Russia meddled in the 2016 elections. In fact, he's firmly rejected any suggestion that Russia attacked our democracy, which plainly it did. All of the intelligence agencies have reached unanimity in that conclusion, and it impairs our ability to resist and stop this kind of meddling and interference in the future. It is a real national security threat, and Russia will repeat it unless they are made to pay a price.
Senator, there's something even stranger, I think, about Russia. The Washington Post is reporting that intelligence officers have told them, their sources say, that these intel officials leave information about